looking good. Bike's all dialed. I just cleaned my brake rotors with some 91% isopropyl alcohol. I suggest whenever you work on your brakes, even if you don't think you touched them, clean with isopropyl alcohol. Just wipe down those rotors so there's no contamination. Makes a huge difference in your bite on your brakes. All right, so I'm running like 26 PSI in the rear, and I think I like it like that. I'm gonna try that out. But the reason I'm doing this video is I had a suggestion from a commenter. He said, why don't you do a video on the difference, you know, with removing your brake cutoffs. I don't know if people know that. So you have a brake cutoff wire that comes out. It's actually tucked in right here, that little yellow plug. You can see it. It comes out and plugs into here, onto these Tektro Eriga reservoirs right here. And it would basically, when this plug is plugged into your sensor, when you apply the brakes, it cuts off your motor, it kills it. And it wasn't my idea, but my friend Teddy, he suggested, why not just remove that? Because when you're really getting into a corner and you got that bike sideways and you're coming out, as soon as you take off pedaling, you know, you have to start from zero. Your motor's at 0 power, because every time you tap these brakes, the motor just completely, you know, dies. So you're losing all that power. The efficiency, you know, it can't be that good. And another thing, I like to do wheelies. I'm not the best, but I'm learning. And I always use that rear brake, and I feather it on my regular bike to control that wheelie, so you don't go, you know, past 12 o'clock. And I always use that rear brake to control my wheelies. Well, when you have your brake cutoffs and you hit it, your wheelie is done. You're over. There's no more momentum carrying you forward because your motor is like completely killed. So that's another reason I took off the brake cutoffs. Another reason, you know, it's 2 extra wires that you don't have, making your cockpit look like crap. I wish I could clean this up more than I already have. I got these clips right here that kind of keep the hoses and wires in place. I got them on both sides here. You know, this bike does come with those, they look like the old telephone coil type things to hold these wires all together. And I really don't like the look of that. It's just not my thing. Some people do. But yeah, so what I did was I removed the brake cutoff switches. Basically, I tucked them in here. It does nothing to the bike negatively, but I do have them retained up here inside the frame. So in case I ever wanted to put them back on, they're there, which I never will. And I don't recommend this to everybody. You don't, you know, it's there for a safety reason. These bikes are heavy, 80 pounds plus. And, you know, hitting your brakes and having that motor not pushing you forward, I get it. I get it. It's a safety issue. This bike does have a slight delay. When you do stop pedaling, the motor does, at least on mine, it continues to push the bike forward for a slight, maybe a half second. But there's programming and all that stuff you know, you can mess with. I haven't got into that yet, but it does. It's just something you got to anticipate if you know this bike. I'm not sure all of them do it, but mine does. It's the Fang M620 that I'm running, 750 watts. But yeah, like I said, as soon as you stop pedaling, the bike continuously, you know, the motor pushes forward for like maybe half a second or less. But it's there, you can feel it. It's kind of weird, just like I said, anticipate it happening, and you know, you'll adjust to your riding of the bike. So I'm gonna take it out right now, try to get a few wheelies, and show you removing this brake cutoff lets me, you know, hold a wheelie a little bit better, because when I'm feathering my brakes trying to control that wheelie, it's not killing my motor. It's still going forward. All right, let's try that out, see if I can do anything. Keep those tires warmed up. Okay, another thing I do, this is a slight downhill right now. I'm going to turn around. I find that riding uphill, for me. It's easier to pull that front end up, and it's easier to control that wheelie. So I use the advantage of the slight uphill. I am in level 5 for pedal assist. That's the highest setting I have mine in, is 5. And the gear I'm in, let's see. Well, I'll show that after I attempt these wheelies. I'll show you what gear I'm in. And here we go. So I'm using that. See, when I hit the brake, the motor's still going forward, still pedaling. So here we go. Let's try some. So do you hear that? How the motor keeps continuously pushing forward? Here we go. Let's try a downhill wheelie. You pick up a little bit more speed, but yeah, it's not the same. It's a little bit harder to learn. All right, I'll just do a couple more. See if I can control this. A little bit better. So if I had the brake cutoffs and I hit that brake, it would completely kill my forward momentum of that motor. So let me wait for this car to move. Okay, I'm on the 6th gear from the smallest. So 6 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's kind of where I like it. That's where it feels right to me. Just trying to give you my formula. And another thing is, make sure your back brake is working good, which mine is. Find a nice slide uphill. I like my seat kind of down a little bit, so I'm leaning back a little bit. And then once you get your feet position on your cranks, like to where you know that motor's kicking in. And for me, I like my right foot forward when I take off. In skateboarding, that's the way I skateboard, so right foot forward. I'm goofy footed. I don't know if that makes a difference on doing these wheelies, but another hint, do not try to keep your front wheel straight, because one of my buddies told me if you go left to right, it's really gonna throw you off balance. So that's my formula. Here we go. Let's see if we can get a good one. And finger on that rear brake lever, just one finger. That's how I control it from going over. Okay, I ran out of gear that time. Just ran out a little bit of gear. It's kind of hard to wheelie this bike, but I'm trying the best I can. Okay, so I attempted a couple wheelies. I got one decent one, I would say. I really ran out of gear, so but that's my formula. So one finger on the rear brake to control you from going over. Remove your brake cutoff sensors and just tuck them down in here. Look at all the stuff I have tucked in here. I've my throttle. I took my throttle off a long time ago when I first got this bike. I also have my throttle cable stuffed in there along with the brake sensor lines. It just cleaned up this cockpit a little bit. Make sure you have good brakes. I got the Galfer 223 millimeters with the Shimano XT 4-piston. If you want to go this route, there's that adapter you need, SB001. It's a plus 43, so you're going from a 180 to a 223. So that would be the adapter mount you'd need if you want to attempt this. This is a first generation bike, so all I needed was the banjo bolts. I'm running the stock hoses from the Tektros that came on this bike originally. So it's a Tektro Shimano combo. So up front, I also have the Galfer in 223, running the XT quad piston, and this post mount on this Domain is a 203 already. So this adapter is a plus 23 millimeter. And that seems to be the best combo I've found for this bike. It really controls this heavy bike. 223s front and rear. with the quad piston brake calipers, Shimano DRXT. And that stopping ability gives me so much more confidence in this bike. It stops on a dime now. It's very good. So that's my combo there. Just put this new tire on. I'm gonna run it, I think, a little bit harder than normal, like 26 PSI. I'm gonna try it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but you know, I don't want to damage that rim. I really don't want to run tire liners just yet. It is a heavy bike, and you know, from a motorcycle background, you always want quite a bit of air or pressure in your tires anyway on a dirt bike, so that's almost what this bike feels like to me. So yeah, my formula, if you want to practice those wheelies, have some good rear brakes, ditch your motor cutoff switches, one finger to control from going over, find your pedal position where you like it. For me, I liked it right there with my right foot forward when I started my pedal stroke and pulling up. I'm in the sixth gear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where I like it. But like I said, I did run out of gearing when I was into that one good wheelie. So maybe 5, you can go up or down, experiment with what you like. And that's it. Practice, practice, practice. I love this bike. All right, everyone, appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm trying to grow this channel. Right? What? And I do want to bring you guys more content. I do want to get some other e-bikes, because that seems to be what everyone's into these days, is the e-bike scene. I got some plans. And everyone, thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. And thank you for that comment. I forgot your name. I'll look you up and I'll mention your name if you don't mind. But that was a good suggestion for a video, you know. Another good thing about these, like I mentioned, is, you know, you can come out of corners and instantly you're on the gas. Before you come into a corner, you control, you know, your cornering with the brake a little bit. You tap the brake, the motor's dead. So, and then when you come out of that corner, it's like you have to start from 0 power. So now, you know, that doesn't happen anymore. No downfalls of it that I've seen. It's not for everybody. This is just me, what I like to do, how I like to ride. And it was my buddy Teddy's suggestion, you know, remove that brake, motor cut off sensor wire, get rid of them. Dude, it's a game changer. You do not need them. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Stay stoked. One more thing, you know, I might get some crap for this. You know, someone's gonna tell me that's a safety, you know, concern or issue. To me, really, as long as you know how to control your bike and, you know, you got full control with some really good braking and just your skills in general, you know, I don't see it as a negative or a dangerous, I guess, adaptation of this bike. To me, I find it totally safe. And like I said, don't do what I'm doing. You could try it, but do it in a safe manner. If you don't like it, plug those brake sensor lines back in if it's not for you. All right, everyone, I'm just trying to share my experience and trying to make this bike better every day. Stay stoked.